Well, I think fear has been very adaptive for us as human beings. I mean, I think, if you have a lot of common sense and you're navigating in your life, there's certain things that you avoid that I think is healthy. And I think there's things where you can't predict something or you can't control something, and you kind of get ready. That's what the early stages of fear is. That you kind of rev up and you get ready. You're ready to perform.
Anticipation.
You're ready to act. You're ready for something, right? And I think that's healthy when it's within a limit. And then when it gets to that point where you absolutely have the perception that it's going to get worse instead of get better, that's when the brain goes into these high states of arousal. And the arousal is really pay a lot of attention to your body, pay a lot of attention to everything in your environment. Do not take your attention.
It's a degree of vigilance.
Off. Yeah, it is vigilance. And try to predict the worst thing right now that could possibly happen. Predict the worst, because if you can get ready for the worst and you're ready for it, anything less that happens, you're going to survive. So the brain actually predicts the worst case scenario. When it picks that worst case scenario, the body goes into a heightened state of fear, right? And now in fear, though, the conditioned response that takes place from feeling that emotion is storing that emotion in the body. So fear creates an arousal that switches on the fight or flight nervous system, right? So keep having the thought, keep having the response, and you're taking thought and in the form of chemistry, in the form of emotion, and you're literally activating that third center. And now that third center is storing an enormous amount of energy in it. And when there's an enormous amount of energy in that solar plexus, that center is driving more information to the brain for you to be more ready for the next possible thing that can go wrong. And so you could have 10 really great things that go on in your day and one thing that goes wrong, and you're going to focus on that one wrong thing because you got to be prepared for it if it happens again. So I think fear was adaptive at one point, and it's become very maladaptive because, again, people are always trying to forecast the worst case scenario.
How can people feel less if we've got this intrinsic drug dealer, this endogenous drug dealer inside of us that continues to just tick the button, is keeping on pressing it, is becoming aware? Is it stepping into noticing when that arises? Is it trying to find a degree of safety?
Yeah. Well, I think what we discovered is that most people don't think that they have control over that. I mean, it's so primitive. It's so in our biology. It's hard to think that you have control over a fear response. Now, there's nothing wrong with having the fear response. There's nothing wrong with getting aroused. The question is, how long? Like, how long is this going to go on for? So you have a reaction 5 days ago from something that's happened, and you're still aroused by that event. You got to agree that you're addicted to that emotion. Keep it going, and it'll become more automatic. You'll constantly be thinking certain ways and doing certain things to reaffirm that addiction to fear. So for the short term, have the fear response. If you can't shorten the refractory period of that emotional response, more than likely you're going to be in a program for the remainder of your day. So what we teach people is how to master the fear. So take anxiety as an example, right? Many people come to the work and they have a high amount of anxiety. CEOs, engineers, doctors, nurses, dentists, people can't cross a bridge. And they've tried everything to try to change their anxiety. But what they haven't done is they haven't caught themselves feeling the feeling of fear and practicing with their eyes closed first. Not in their life when they're feeling fear, but let's practice when you're sitting in the meditation and your body starts getting a little anxious, starts getting a little worried, starts getting a little aroused. What are you going to do in that moment? Can you become aware that the body's feeling that emotion, and could you, like taming an animal, settling the body back down from that aroused state back into the present moment, okay? It goes great, I'm going to do this for 2 seconds. And like a spoiled child, it starts getting aroused again. Now, most people think I'm never going to be able to overcome this, but the act of sitting with that and keep lowering the volume and not letting the body be the mind, but you actually executing being the mind. Do that enough times and you'll condition the body to a new mind. And what happens is the brain stops firing those same circuits. Okay, then the person says, but what if this happens? And what if that happens? And then what if this happens? And they catch themselves going to the worst case scenario or going to the memory of the past, and they keep bringing their attention back to the present moment. What we discovered is if you keep doing that, you get better at it. And when the body, as I said, finally surrenders into the present moment, it cannot be in fear any longer. So the person then that returns back into their life and has lowered the volume to the fear because they've been practicing it will respond less emotionally in their life because they've overcome it, right? If they haven't overcome it, then the response is going to be the same. So first thing, eyes closed. You got to practice with your eyes closed, but get so good at doing it with your eyes closed that you can do it with your eyes open. And when it's the hardest, it matters the most. And so justified, valid or not, those chemicals are not good for you. They're not good for you. Whether you're right, whether you're justified, the only person that's hurting is you, right? So then the person says, okay, well, is this loving to me? Okay, so the fear is real. Okay, so what emotion could you change from fear into? Okay, so we teach people, okay, can you practice breathing and slowing your brain waves down, working with the animal, working with the body, slow your breath down, slow your brain waves down. Yeah, but I don't want to. Okay, do it anyway. Practice slowing your breath down, breathing a little bit slower, your brainwaves start to change. Put your attention on your heart. We have great data to show where you place your attention is where you place your energy. You see a very low frequency of the heart starting to build in the person. So now the heart is getting energy, and then parasympathetic nervous system starts coming up. The body starts moving into that state. Okay, that's really great. And keep doing it over and over again. Keep relaxing into your heart, energy moving into the heart. The heart informs the brain. The trauma's over. Betrayal's over. The event is over. What you're afraid of is over. And it resets the baseline in the amygdala for trauma. And the side effect of that is the person now, when energy moves into their heart like that, they start getting very creative. The heart is a very creative center. Okay, what do I want to do now? Like, what do I want to create now? So it's something that you can only talk around. But when you're in the work and you're practicing it, it's first so important to face off with it with your eyes closed. And it's David against Goliath in the beginning because the program is so ingrained in our biology. And yet, people who keep practicing lowering the volume, you see the brain scans, CEOs, as I said, all kinds of different athletes. You see the dramatic change in the brain. There's the anxiety, and now it's gone. And there's just a significant change in a person's subjective view of the world as well.